Go Waller! We are Waller. Awesome. 7th grade, 8th grade, 6th grade. I appreciate you guys locking in and remembering some of our assembly auditorium procedures. 6th grade, appreciate you guys coming to boot camp. Those of you guys that were able to attend that, and some of our 5th grade tours last year, and I see you remember those procedures. Guys, those things are real important to us on how we operate around here. There's a reason those things are what we use all the time. Go Waller! Go Eagles! We're so proud to be a part of Waller as a teaching staff. We've been fortunate to be able to meet for over a week here to be ready and get ready for you guys, as well as multiple times over the summer as a staff in small groups. We've had teachers take trips all over this country to prepare for this year. Staff have been to, let's kill that light, I'm not using it. Thank you. Get a little hot up here. Can you see me all right? Good. I'll jump down there and get your face if you need me to. But no, I appreciate all of you guys being here today. Like I said, we had a bunch of teachers, guys, make a lot of commitments over their lives and over this summer. They traveled to Atlanta, they've traveled to Colorado, they've traveled to Texas, all in preparation to change some things and be ready for what this world has become. A lot of it is technology. I want to take some time to recognize Mrs. Axcraft. In fact, give her a round of applause. We as a school this year are going to reap the rewards of her efforts, as well as a couple other teachers and staff members. Dr. Vineyard, who was a part of the grant writing proposal, as well as, and you guys know her as Mrs. Reynolds. She's actually behind the scenes doing some work. She has went back to her maiden name, and I want to make sure that you guys recognize that, because you guys that have been around here and know her, Mrs. Buck. Everybody say Mrs. Buck with me? Mrs. Buck. Today's a special day. She's not in here right now, but as you see Mrs. Buck walking around the halls today, it's a big moment in her life today. It's her birthday today. I know a lot of you guys already know her and all the things that she's been able to do for this school, but want to point that out. It's something that you just take the time to look at her eyes and tell her happy birthday today. You know how important it is to her. So thank you for that. There's some students in this room today. If you guys attended the EPS conference, that technology conference, and helped out last Thursday, would you please stand at this time? I think there's about 14 students that helped put on the workshop. Give these guys a round of applause. These guys took some time this summer to come up here and meet. Every teacher at Enid Public Schools, over 600 teachers that was at Enid High School last Thursday, they were attending classes all about technology and how to use technology. And that's why we're fortunate to get the grant that Mrs. Axcraft wrote. We've got $65,000 in equipment. All of your teachers have brand new iPads. And these guys that came here last Thursday, they taught those teachers how to use some technology. A lot of you guys understand and use technology on a daily basis. They were able to come in and explain some things from your perspective and your point of view, so I appreciate those guys doing that. The big thing about this grant is something that's going to be real special this year, and as we go on through time, we're going to make a movie about Waller. That's the whole premise of this grant. We've got $65,000 worth of movie making equipment. We've got a green screen come in to be able to make some movies. We've got all kinds of tripods, pad capture units, MacBooks, a bunch of different iPads to make a movie. Every one of you guys are going to be featured in a movie about Waller somehow, some way this year. What I want to let you know is you're going to be in the spotlight. Think about movies. Think about movies you've seen. There's some stars in the movies. There's some people behind the scenes. There's some good guys. Alec, there's also some what? Bad guys. So what I want to point out though is we're going to make a movie of this year. How do you want to be portrayed? As we go out this year, as we go out today, how do you want to be portrayed in that movie? Because it's something we're going to capture for a lifetime. You're going to be able to get a copy of some of these things as we go throughout the year. All of our assemblies, the things that we do in here, we're going to feature on our YouTube channel called Waller Podcast. So if you're interested in reviewing some of these things as we go throughout the year, I encourage you to get on that YouTube channel and look up Waller Podcast. If you're going to do some things that maybe your parents or grandparents or relatives might not be able to see, but you want to, you can introduce them to that site. Before we get going any further, I also want to recognize where you are in your education process. Congratulations to all of the future classes of what? You know what class you're going to graduate in? 2019, 2020, 2021. It's coming up fast, guys. And there's a lot of things that you're going to have the opportunity to do at Enid High School. There's a lot of things you're going to be able to accomplish. And people will tell you all the time, hey, it counts when you get to what? I said, well, it counts then, these transcripts and these things. We have students this year who will be taking classes here at Waller for high school credit. What I also want to let you know about is how it counts here. Because what you do in middle school sets the stage for what you can do at Enid High School. I think we talked a little bit last year. Who would like $30,000 in the pocket? Probably a lot of you, right? Well, let me tell you how you have the opportunity for $30,000, right? Sounds like a no-brainer, right? But let me tell you, some people in this room will choose not to get $30,000. Enid High School last year put in a university center. Students that are eligible their junior and senior years, based off of their course history before that, if they are on track to be taking some of those college classes their junior and senior year, then take that free of charge right there in Enid High School at a value of around $30,000. So you got a couple options. You can make some choices in the next couple of years that won't put you on that track. And then if you choose to take some of those classes later on in life, where does that money come from? You get a job, get a loan, get something to take it. But if you put yourself on track this year, as a 7th grader, as an 8th grader, as a 6th grader, to be able to do some things, that money is out there, it's available for you. So as you continue your academic journey, be aware of some of the options that are out there for you to make some of those choices. Talk about some priorities here at Waller. We've got 3 priorities. And those of you guys that have been around here, and I know even when we meet and talk to the 6th graders, it's the first thing we emphasize. We have 3 priorities. And they'll never disappear, they'll never go away. Priority number 1 is all about safety. Say it back to me. Safety. Priority number 1 is all about safety. If you're wondering what to do at Waller, if you're at that crossroads of choice, I have a choice to make. The first question you always ask yourself, is this safe for me? Is this safe for others? And if you can answer yes, then that's probably down the path that we can support you and go down. If you can't answer yes, that it's safe for me or it's not safe for others, what should we do? Number 2, our second priority, learning. Second priority is what? Learning. Second priority, Haley, everybody is what? Learning. Learning. For a school, that's what it's about. You don't expect you to know when you get here. We expect you to want to learn. We expect you to be engaged in that process. And we'll elaborate on that a little later on as we go through here. We want you to be involved in learning. And we don't expect you to show up on day 1 and know everything about it. If you did, we'd hand you all the diplomas in Enid High School, right? But we expect you to participate in that process. Be engaged in that process. Learning. To me, to us, what is learning? Learning is doing something you've never done before. If I've never done something before, typically, am I any good at it the first time? Absolutely not. If I am good at it the first time, if it comes that easy, then either I'm not pushing myself very hard, or my teachers or people around me aren't pushing me very hard. I believe that people that achieve things in this world, people that go on to achieve greatness or do those things they've never done before, are willing to be uncomfortable. Because if I've never done something before, typically is it comfortable? It's a pretty difficult process. Think about whatever that is. whether that's riding a bike, whether that's making a free throw, whether that's having completing a painting, standing up here on the stage and singing something vocally, is typically come natural. Typically, they have to work extremely hard over and over again. There's two ways we're going to do that this year in the classroom. Way number one is that drill. We're going to do something over and over and over and over again. You're going to say to your teachers, I've already done this. What are they going to ask you to do? To do it again, over and over and over. Why do they want you to do that? To gain what we call fluency. Fluency means you're able to do something within a couple of seconds. That's how we know you know it. So we're going to drill you a bunch. We want you to be able to understand things very fast. And then the other way is we're going to ask you to do something you've never done before. So what does that look like? It looks like a lot of failure. It looks like raising your hand in class and getting the wrong answer. It looks like getting up on that board and writing it down and getting the wrong answer. Typically, you don't get it right away. You have to work through the process called trial and error. So getting it wrong, figuring it out, was it right, figuring it out, going back over and over and over and over. Some of the best ways for me to think about this, think about riding that bike. Typically, what did I do a bunch of times? Oh no, red. I got some bumps, I got some bruises. But guess what? I kept getting back on that thing right there. I kept getting on. And now what? Now I'm able to do a bunch of things. And that's the same thing we're going to challenge you to do here in school. So those priorities. Priority number one is what? Safety. Priority number two is all about learning. And then the foundation for everything we do, guys, is relationships. And what I mean by that is we want to get to know you. We want you to get to know us. Some of you guys are coming in here and you've been having one or two teachers your whole life for a year at a time. And that's been a great bond, a great connection. Now you're coming in, you're looking at a schedule, you've got 8 different teachers on there, you've got to move classes all the time, and you got to take yourself to lunch and take yourself to the bathroom to get in and get out of here. 8. 8's the number you got now. These teachers around here, well, I want you to think about their shoes for a little bit. They've got a class, and another one, they've got 7 classes. About 25 plus kids per class. They have to get to know 150 guys. Which one's easier, 8 or 150? 8. So what I challenge you guys to do is help them. Help them get to know you. How can you do that? You come sit in there, you can sit in those first couple rows and you can mirror, you can be on time. You can look them in the eye, you can shake their hand. You can let them know a little bit about you. They don't know much about you. You know how you learn best. You know what works for you. Maybe they've got some other great ideas that they can share with you. But if you can come up and get to know them and share some of those things, I think it'll be a little bit better for you and a little bit better for them. So my challenge to you guys is to really get to know the staff, get to know your teachers. Share some things about yourself. I talked about it last year. One thing I really want to find out if I'm coming into a teacher's classroom, I want to know their pet peeves. What's a pet peeve? Pet peeve is something they don't like, don't enjoy. Why would I want to know a teacher's pet peeves? Why would I know something that doesn't make them happy? Absolutely. So I know those are things I might want to stay away from. Some teachers' pet peeves might be talking, gum, not turning your stuff in time, sitting in the back row, slouching down on the floor, not paying attention. I don't know. Ask the teachers, find out. But I think what you'll find out is if you're willing to help enough other people out in this world, you'll ultimately get the same thing in return. If you're willing to help enough other people get what they want, you'll ultimately get what you want. You got to be willing to sacrifice, guys. You got to be willing to make some sacrifices to achieve it. Our 8th grade class shirts last year when they had their end of the year cookout said swag. They know anything about swag. I'll tell you what I know about swag. Think how you spell it. S-W-A-G. People that achieve greatness. S. Sacrifice. W. Will. A. Achieve. achieve greatness. You have to be willing to sacrifice some things to achieve greatness. I've got to be willing to put away some things in the short term to accomplish some stuff in the long term. I'd like to go home every day at 3 o'clock and play video games and be ice cream. In the short term, that might be very beneficial. I might enjoy that today. But after a while, what's probably going to happen? To my brain and my body, absolutely. And we'll both be destroyed. So I've got to be willing to make a balance, to have some balance in my life. I want to do some things in the short term that I can really enjoy this time where I am in the moment, but I also have an understanding of how that stuff in the short term affects me in the long term. You've got to be willing to make some sacrifices. So our priorities in order. Number 1, safety. Learning. Relationships. Our job, guys, is to help you achieve your goals. We're not going to stand up here and tell you what you should be doing 5, 10, 20 years from now. We want that to come from you. We want to expose you to a bunch of different things so you can have some options, you can figure some things out. But I think it's our job to tell you how we can help you get there. How my role as a principal can help you achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. How these teachers in whatever specific classes, whether it's reading, or science, or art, or social studies. I promise you these guys are all put here for a reason. And that reason is to help you achieve greatness. You have to participate in that process for that to happen. These teachers can't just sit there and pour that information in. You have to be engaged in that process. So as you wonder what's acceptable, what can I do, what can't I do, we should reflect back to those priorities, because that's how we're going to bring it back to you. Is it safe? And does it promote harmony? Procedures today, we're going to dismiss here in a little bit. We're going to start with that 6th grade. We're going to go back to our advisory classes. We're going to take some time today checking out some lockers to you. You're going to get a locker. Hopefully you'll have a place to put your stuff. Some of you, 8th graders, I know some of you might not want a locker. If you don't want a locker, you're going to have to check out a locker. But we have lockers. I'll hold up. Discussion. Good. But we're going to check out some lockers. After we get down to checking out some lockers, after we get done checking out some lockers, our bells today, guys, we're going to go on the intercom the first half of the day. You're going to disregard the bells until the second half of the day. After we get done with lockers, we're going to get on that intercom, we're going to ask you, then you'll rotate the first out. Our passing periods this year will be 5 minutes. You want to set that first impression, and you wait for 5 minutes to get in that class, get in there. Get out of that hall. One thing we're going to expect of you, if you are in the hallways that walk, you are moving. Going to that next class. Right? There's going to be some times in the morning, there's going to be some times at lunch, there's going to be some times after school where you guys have some social time. This week we're going to have assemblies. Tomorrow when we get to school, 8 o'clock, we're going to ring that bell at 7:50. We're going to funnel you all. We're going to meet in here, and we're going to extend some of our assemblies. We're going to do that this week. We're checking the first part of school. Guys, don't be late. 8 o'clock, we'll be in here. We'll open those doors. We'll let you in at 7:50 if you want breakfast. They start serving at 7:15. But we'll have assemblies. We'll show you some things that we're going to be able to do this year. I think we'll start with our joke of the day tomorrow. So those of you guys, 6th grade, we need to ask somebody about that. 8th grade, 7th grade, we can start those in the next 3 days, and then we'll start in on assemblies next week. Every Monday in our advisories, guys, is going to be an assembly time, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you're going to have advisory in class. Wednesday will be a big focus on reading, and we'll do some things to extend that. And Fridays, as we move forward, probably here in about 3 or 4 weeks, we'll start our clubs and activities during that time. But today, as we dismiss, you go to advisors, you come back, you check out lockers, and then first, second, third hour will be shortened up, and we'll move you guys around on the bell. If you saw in our cafeteria, we've expanded our cafeteria across the hallway into Mrs. Gilbert's room. We have 72 chairs, tables set up in there because we're growing. Look around here. There's not very many seats left, are there? Those of you guys who were here last year, we had some empty seats in the back. We got a packed house. And that's a good thing. That allows us to do a lot of things. We've been able to expand some offerings that we have in here, some of our electives. Some of you guys have been exposed to that. We're excited about what these numbers are going to bring and provide for us. We talked about assemblies this week. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock, where are you going to report? Right in here. Where specifically? You guys all, there's a little bit of difference this year is because we're going to start in here, we're going to take roll in here. So it is imperative, vital, crucial that you sit where you're sitting today in those rows. Mrs. Arnold has these designated rows. Make sure you sit there by class. Do I have to sit in chair A or B or C every time? You just need to sit in those teacher rows so we can take roll call. And here, as we get going, your teachers might assign you some specific seats until they get to know your names, they get to know where we are. But we have to be able to take roll in here. So tomorrow when you come in, sit in those seats, we'll be able to take roll. We'll head down in here and get everything ironed out. Athletics, those of you guys going to athletics last hour, if you are in football, volleyball, or wrestling, the bus is going to leave right away. Make sure you head down in that lobby and head out those east doors right there on the first floor. Think on your schedule. Is everybody's athletics? It says Miller on it, is that correct? Yes. So only those guys that are in off season right now, that would be if I'm not playing football, volleyball, or wrestling. If I'm not in one of those 3 sports, then you guys report directly to the gym immediately. Again, so after 6 hours, do I stand around the hall? I report immediately to the gym. Those other sports that are in session, volleyball, you know, where you guys report football and wrestling, those buses will take you there. Make sure you're not late. Lunch, we talked about lunch. We talked about getting involved, guys. There's going to be a bunch of different activities we encourage you to get involved in. If we don't have those activities set up and it's something you want to create, you need to find a teacher, get a sponsor, and we look to do those things on those Friday mornings. Go Waller. We are Waller. Awesome. I'm going to ask those 6th grade teachers to start making their way. They're going to escort those classes. We're going to go back to the advisory. 8th grade, 7th grade, you guys are excited.